Happening now, staffing shortages due to New York's vaccine mandate, how it's impacting a local elder care facility. Plus, Jamestown City Council once again knocking down a motion to quell urban deer. What lawmakers have to say.
Well, fall is here and it's going to remain throughout the remainder of the week. And is there any rain in the foreseeable future? We'll talk about it next as the news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now. This is WNY News Now with live breaking news.
A second set of human remains have been recovered from a trail in Chautauqua County. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now, and we start again with breaking news. I'm Justin Gould. Chautauqua County Sheriff Jim Quattrone telling us the discovery was made as a result of a second search of the rails to trail area near Woblin Road in the town of Portland last night. He says investigators do not know the gender, age, or how long the body has been there, but believes the remains are more recent than the first discovery on Sunday. Quattrone says law enforcement are suspecting foul play. The Chautauqua County Forensic Investigation Team is now working with Mercyhurst Forensics Anthropology Department in identifying both sets of remains this hour. Quattrone says he doesn't believe the second body discovered is related to any unsolved cases in the county, but hopes that dental records from the first could shed light on one of the many cold cases here locally. Joining us live on the scene now with Sheriff Jim Quattrone is our Bronson Rasmussen. Bronson, thanks so much for joining us. I'll toss it straight to you as we hear more from the sheriff this hour.
Thank you, Justin. I'm here with the sheriff. How are you doing today?
We're doing as well as it can be expected.
Could you just give us a quick little overview of everything that's happened since Sunday?
Sure. Sunday evening between 5:30 and 6, we received a call. Somebody thought that they found a human skull. Our officers responded, confirmed that it was what appeared to be a human skull. So we started out with a team from Mercyhurst Forensic Anthropology Group, as well as our forensic identification team, and they were here all day yesterday. And throughout that investigation, we were able to, we ended up having two bodies that were found. The first one appeared to be here for quite some time. It was fully intact skeletal remains. And then we found approximately 10 yards or so from the first body, we discovered some other remains, and had it confirmed today that they were human remains.
When people find remains, a lot of people that hear that will just start thinking of names of people that have gone missing or stuff like that. Do you have any indication on any of these rumors?
Yeah, at this time, we don't have any solid indications that any of our missing individuals from Chautauqua County. We have some dental records from a couple, and Mercyhurst Anthropology is analyzing those, and hopefully within the week we'll be able to have some sort of conclusion on whether the dental records match the remains found.
Well, this is quite a remote part of the county. This could also be something very much like an old graveyard that hasn't been found in centuries. Do you think that's true?
We don't believe that it's a graveyard. We believe there's some foul play, at least in the second set of remains that were found. We do also believe that those were more recently placed here, and not likely any of our past missing person calls.
Now, the search is still going on right now to see if there's even more bodies. Do you, in your opinion, think that there might be more?
Well, the search we're doing now is primarily to look for any evidence that might be in the area. We don't believe that there's any other bodies here, but we won't rule that out until we're done with that grid search.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us today.
All right, thank you.
And thank you for having me here, Justin. We're on the scene. If you need anything else, here I am.
Yeah, and Bronson, one of the big things that I know we were talking about before the broadcast was there was a team of folks behind you that looked like they were going out to search, as Sheriff Quattrone mentioned, and that looked like it was using some state resources as well with the DEC forest rangers?
Yeah, I did see the Rangers. They were talking about trying to make this search as thorough as possible, just to keep it so that way they don't miss something and have to come back a couple months later.
Right, and I'm sure a lot of manpower involved in this, Bronson. Thank you very much. And of course, we'll continue to have more on this developing story throughout the day here on WNY News Now. Sheriff Quattrone telling us earlier that that trail and portion will likely be closed until further notice as the investigation continues. Other news we're following today, one of the largest elderly care providers in Jamestown has lost nearly 10% of their staff due to New York State's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers. Heritage Ministries President and CEO Lisa Haglund announced the news in a statement to us. Haglund says they lost 9% of their staff who decided not to get vaccinated. She goes on to say that the substantial losses from the pandemic was staff over this past year, but highlighted the importance of getting vaccinated to end the pandemic. The vaccine mandate, which went into effect yesterday amid a legal battle challenging its constitutionality, is also impacting hospitals, with New York Governor Kathy Hochul now taking steps to alleviate potential staffing shortages. Hochul signing an executive order which expands who can work in the state's healthcare facilities, saying the Department of Health will also monitor staffing levels.
We are over it, we are done, we want to move on. And the only way we can do that is to ensure that everyone is vaccinated, but particularly individuals who are taking care of the people who are sick. And I'm talking about the confidence that people need to have. Whether you're an expectant mom heading into the hospital, checking in, an anxious time in your life, you need to be assured that the person taking care of you is not going to give COVID to you or your newborn.
According to the latest stats from the State Health Department, the vaccine mandate is increasing vaccinations in the medical field, with 84% of hospital staff fully vaccinated. That up from 77% this time last month. As for those working at nursing home and adult care facilities, 92% and 89% of those workers are now vaccinated. That up from 70 and 76 respectively. A protest against the mandate will be happening today outside of UPMC Chautauqua Hospital in Jamestown, with demonstrators expected to continue calls to have the county legislature pass a law to opt out of the mandate. A 28-year-old Jamestown man is behind bars after allegedly threatening a stranger with a knife. Officers with the Jamestown Police Department responding to an address on West 4th Street around 9 o'clock last night for a reported person with a weapon. Following a brief investigation, it's alleged that Richard D. Hart approached a stranger walking down that street and then threatened him with that knife. DeHart was arrested and charged with second-degree menacing and fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon. Officers say he was taken to Jamestown City Jail and held for arraignment. Well, a series of discussions before Jamestown City Council voted against a resolution last night that would have allowed the city to apply for a deer management system permit with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. Ward 6 Councilman Tom Nelson, who introduced the resolution, and Ward 5 Councilman Grant Olson were the only members who voted to support the permit application. The program called for a controlled archery hunting program in Jamestown. Councilwoman Kim Eklund says that she's in support of an effort to address the deer issue citywide. However, that Nelson's program isn't the best way to solve the problem.
Unfortunately, I cannot support this resolution, as you all probably know, because I've been pretty vocal about it. There are just so many open issues for me. I have mentioned liability, and I know Mr. Johnson stated about one liability thing, but that doesn't cover everything. And as a city, and as an elected official, we have to do our due diligence on the liability strategy. And even our corporation counsel presented to me the fact that we are liable in probably some ways we may not have uncovered yet.
The council tabled a similar resolution calling for the permit application last November. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comment section down below. And got to say hello to those of you who are watching us now live on Roku, channel 716. If you haven't added us to your channel lineup on your television, I don't know what you're waiting for. Simply search channel 716 and add it today. Well, now let's get a first check of our weather forecast. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter standing by live with that, and it's feeling like fall out there.
Oh, yes, it is. That fall air has returned after a rather summer day yesterday. Oh, a live look over Findlay Lake shows you those clouds that are now starting to break apart through the afternoon. That's the good news. 64 degrees out there right now, so the temperatures, again, as we mentioned, feeling more like fall. Hey, did you get woken up by this little thunder boomer that came through about 6, 7 o'clock this morning? And this was the rain that we had that we told you that was going to develop overnight and then through the morning hours today. And all that has now exited out of the region, so the afternoon is going to be dry and the clouds are going to be breaking apart from west to east. So we're going to see at least some more sunshine through the afternoon. 73 was the high yesterday. The average is 68, so it really felt good. 58 is where we started the day. 87 and 27 are the record highs and lows for this day. So through the afternoon, basically the clouds are going to break through the afternoon, then sunshine takes us through the remainder of the afternoon. Cooler and much less breezy. 62 to 68 with a north wind. That's the reason why it's cooler. Now this fall air continues pretty much over the next several days, but is there any more rain in the picture? We'll talk about it with that full 7-day forecast later on in the show. Justin?
Thank you, Dakota. New York has moved forward with its plan to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. The State Department of Labor announced that yesterday, part of the next phase, which requires the wage to increase to $15 an hour on Long Island and in Westchester, which matches the already wage set in New York City. Elsewhere statewide, the wage will be required to increase to $13.20 an hour based on economic factors. The announcement follows a required report by the Division of the state's budget, which found evidence of pressure for wages to raise during the ongoing labor shortage. The changes are set to take effect on December 31st. Well, off to Washington now, where it's a critical week as Congress faces a series of significant votes to avert a government shutdown, raise the debt ceiling, and determine the fate of the sweeping dual-pronged infrastructure plan that are key to President Joe Biden's economic agenda. Chris Wynn breaking it all down.
On Capitol Hill, a make-or-break week for President Joe Biden's agenda.
We got 3 things to do. The debt ceiling, continuing resolution, and the 2 pieces of legislation. If we do that, the country's going to be in great shape.
On the line, a potential remake of the economy at a cost of $3.5 trillion over the next decade. The Democrats' spending bill includes major investments in social programs, including universal pre-K, community college, health care, and family leave. Seniors would also see an expansion of Medicare benefits.
The Budget Committee passed out the Build Back Better legislation at the full $3.5 trillion. Obviously, with negotiations, there'll have to be some changes in that. The sooner, the better.
But congressional Democrats also face the looming threat of a government shutdown, with funding set to run out on Thursday. A Senate vote Monday to keep the government open is also tied to raising the debt ceiling and set to fail amid Republican opposition.
I will certainly be voting no if the Democrats insist on combining the debt ceiling increase or suspension with the continuing operations of the government.
Also at issue this week, a separate $1 trillion infrastructure bill providing investments in the power grid, water supply, high-speed internet, and public transit. A House vote on that package has been postponed until Thursday. In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Chris, thank you. As anticipated, the House passed the bill, which was blocked in the Senate by 48 to 50 tally last night. Democrats needed 10 Senate Republicans to advance it, and Republicans have repeatedly said Democrats have to address the debt limit on their own. Coming up, a lot more to tell you about a March for Life held in Pennsylvania yesterday, how it could impact those statewide. And later, have you turned on your heat yet? If not, you're going to want to listen to what a regional furnace repairman has to say. Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Looking for a new career? New Directions Youth and Family Services is hiring and hosting open interviews on Wednesday, September 29th from noon to 4. We have a wide variety of job openings, from direct care staff to cooks, receptionists, RNs, on-call staff, and more. Learn more at fosterandgood.org.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
Located along the Amish Trail, the Randolph Retail Company offers a variety of clothing, jewelry, and gifts for any occasion. Offering uptown merchandise at small-town prices, our locally owned business balances quality and value. With complimentary gift wrap here at the Randolph Retail Company, we pride ourselves in personal service. Check out our Facebook page or stop in today at 127 Main Street, Randolph, just a 20-minute drive from Jamestown.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
March for Life partnered with the Pennsylvania Family Institute to host its first ever official Pennsylvania March for Life yesterday in Harrisburg. Participants rallied on the front steps of the state capitol to call on legislators to protect unborn children, and then they marched around the building. Speakers at the rally included House Speaker Brian Cutter and Senate Majority Leader Kim Ward. While the lawmakers said they're pushing for legislation to restrict abortions in Pennsylvania, Governor Tom Wolf says he plans to veto any anti-abortion law. Well, the American Red Cross saying yesterday it's facing an emergency blood and platelet shortage, with inventory numbers reaching the lowest post-summer level since 2015. Donors of all blood types, especially type O, and platelet donors are urged to make an appointment to give now in order to meet the needs of patients this fall. Blood and platelet donations are often used in life-saving medical procedures like transfusions. Well, after weeks of testimony and jury deliberations, R. Kelly has been convicted on racketeering and sex trafficking charges. Kelly previously pled not guilty to all. Daryl Forges gives us the details and a recap from that trial.
Today's guilty verdict forever brands R. Kelly as a predator who used his fame and fortune to prey on the young, the vulnerable, and the voiceless.
Infamous singer R. Kelly convicted on several charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. The jury, made up of 7 men and 5 women, made their decision after a month of testimony and evidence.
To the victims in this case, your voices were heard and justice was finally served.
The prosecution brought more than 40 witnesses to the stand. The witnesses included former employees, former live-in girlfriends, and others. Prosecutors said Kelly had physically and sexually abused women and girls. The prosecution framed Kelly as a leader of a criminal enterprise with the help of his associates to recruit young women and girls to engage in sexual activity.
He has this type of intimidation right off the bat. I was just waiting for it to be over.
The defense described the charge as overreaching and that many of the relationships were consensual. Kelly's defense team called a handful of witnesses to the stand who say they never saw abuse by Kelly. The R&B singer previously addressed the accusations after numerous women came forward in the documentary Surviving R. Kelly.
They was describing Lucifer. I'm not Lucifer.
In Brooklyn, New York, I'm Daryl Forges.
Daryl, thank you. Well, it might only be Tuesday, but pour yourself a cold one anyways. It's National Drink Beer Day, a day to enjoy one of the world's oldest and most popular adult beverages, as well as a part of American history, by the way. The origins of National Drink Beer Day are not known for certain. However, it does land on the birthday of Arthur Guinness, who's the founder of Guinness Brewery. And it's just before the start of Oktoberfest, too. So whether you love a stout lager, ale, or IPA, beer drinkers have more selections now than ever before. and that's definitely something worth celebrating. So here's to cheers. Too bad we're at work. Let us know what you think about this and more in the comment section down below. I know, Dakota, I feel like we were just talking about a holiday that celebrated beer. Wasn't it like Ale Day or something a couple weeks ago?
I don't know.
I remember having one of these
We
cute,
talked
like,
about beer, I think, a while ago.
yeah,
but
one of these national happy day stories. Let us know what you guys think.
beer's nasty anyway.
It's great to see Dave. Good to see Donna, Barb, and Kayla. Yeah, I've never been much of a beer drinker. I don't know. I think we both agree on that front. I mean,
it smells horrible, but it tastes even worse than it smells.
yeah. Like I don't mind like a good Yingling on a hot summer day, but beer seasons is too over with now, and I don't even have time to drink. Anyways.
No.
No.
Nobody does.
Nobody does.
Nobody in this business has time to drink.
No.
But the one thing we do
have time.
Have time for.
I'll let you do it. Are we thinking of the same sentence we're about to say?
Well, what I'm thinking of, we do have time to go out and, well, not me, but some of us do have the time to go out.
That's what I was going to say. Look at us.
Enjoy some of the weather that we had yesterday. Kyle, he was setting this in, and yeah, he was out in a canoe floating down the lake. And it was a great day to get out there. I mean, we had the sunshine in place, the warmer air. I mean, it really felt like summer out there. So if you did not get a chance to enjoy yesterday, sorry. No 70s in the foreseeable future. I'm sorry. But hey, you know, at least we don't have any of that S stuff coming for at least a little while. 25 miles per hour was the peak wind gust at the airport yesterday. It was a breezy day. So again, there was a small craft advisory in place for Lake Erie yesterday. So that is why if you own a small boat, we recommended not to take that out on Lake Erie yesterday because of that healthy wind. But we do have some clouds downtown from the HD News Now cam right now. But these clouds will be going away as we go through the afternoon hours. That will be the good news as we go through the afternoon. 59 right now is a noon hour, a north wind of 9. That's why it's cooler, that north wind bringing in that cooler air. And so we're going to see that continuing here through at least the week here. So the chance of rain here really is minimal. 20% today, 5 tomorrow. Really just no chance of rain really over the next 5 days. How about Friday? A goose egg. We don't really put a goose egg chance of rain in the forecast really very often. So, but Friday looks like it's going to be dry. We're not really forecasting any rain with good sunshine. We actually have a stationary front that is located to our south along with that cold front that has swept through. But notice the wind arrows. We put the wind arrows on here to show you the wind direction. Notice out ahead of the front, south winds. Behind the front, more north-northwest. That brings in that cooler air, and that cooler air is going to be reinforced over the next several days. So here's the newest radar future scan, just showing you those clouds, but they will break apart and we should turn mostly sunny through the late afternoon and especially this evening. So get out and enjoy it. This model pops up a little blob. Don't worry about that. Those are not going to materialize. And then tomorrow is going to be another looker of a day, partly to mostly sunny, but the cool air remains in place. So yeah, Halloween decorations. I know we started putting Halloween decorations up last night. So if you haven't started that and you've been waiting for the right time to do it, now is the time to do it. 64 at 2 o'clock today on MetroCast. So it's really going to be a nice afternoon. By the time we go to the late afternoon, we should see those clouds breaking apart to mostly sunny skies. And then by the time we go into the nighttime hours, 53 degrees, mainly clear skies. Chance for a ISS passover, but it's going to be very weak. How about the future? Next 7 days of your life are right there. 67 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday. Some spots will stay in the upper 50s. Friday, we would not be surprised if some spots in the valley start in the upper 30s. But at least some sunshine will make it feel a little warmer. Both weekend days dry. Our next chance of rain really is not until Monday. We'll take a break. Be right back.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes! Make a plan today.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
With cooler days and nights ahead, we're getting into the time to turn those furnaces on soon. But before you do, make sure you're receiving proper replacements. Keelan Brennan, with our partner at WNY News Now, is talking to a local repairman about what you should do.
The seasons are changing, so people are using cool air less and heat more. Cleaning your furnace properly will prevent future problems. Damon Pierce, owner of Affordable Furnace and Air Conditioning, says he's receiving calls concerning common problems.
You always want to have the furnace checked before the season starts, before you start really getting into those cold months. Because once the furnace starts working really, really hard in those months, that's when you're going to have the breakdown.
According to Pierce, you want to check your furnace early.
You want to make sure you're saving money, everything's working safe and efficient for you. But you also want to do things now because it's not that bad of weather now. So if they don't have the part, we can get you ordered if you need a part, and you're not sitting there in the dead of cold for 3 days waiting for your part to come in.
Because the COVID-19 virus is more frequent in colder conditions, proper filter replacement are needed to prevent a spread in your home. Some furnaces can have a ultraviolet light installed to kill viruses, but the bulbs also need to be replaced yearly.
I have some customers that do have that ultraviolet light on their system, which kills a lot of the germs and viruses. It kills the COVID.
Pierce's biggest concern is carbon monoxide poisoning. He says that residents will replace the filters, but not the batteries and detectors or thermostats.
So it's better to have no poison than just a little bit of poison. So you always want to have a smoke detector and a smoke alarm. Okay. Make sure your batteries are working in each.
Keelan, thank you. Pierce says around this time of the year, and especially next month, is his high call volume season. But he likes to prioritize his customers depending on how bad the maintenance is or if they're elderly. For more information, you can check out our website, WNYNewsNow.com, where we have a link to his services. Certainly important time of year for money. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I got to check out the comments. Good to see Dave. Good to see Kathy, Lisa, and Alexandria. Lisa saying, I sleep better in this weather. I totally agree with you. I'm voting on the cool weather. I don't necessarily need it to be like, negative temperatures, but I love a 50, a 40. Yeah.
The only people who want negative temperatures are penguins.
Right. Penguins
and
love.
Penguins are people too.
They are.
Yes.
They have feelings, just like the rest of us.
Penguins are my favorite aquatic animal. I mean, really, if we could have penguins as a pet, I seriously would have a penguin. They're so cute.
I like penguins. That'd be one of my favorite zoo animals to visit is penguins. So I could get you a stuffed animal, Dakota.
I already have.
You have one?
Numerous.
Okay. Well, if I ever get my hands on a real penguin, you'll be one of the first people that I call, okay?
I'm happy.
We call you a lot for weather, too, and I know tonight it's going to be pretty chilly, especially overnight. Do you know when we could see maybe some frost?
Yeah, so lower 40s, mainly tonight. Nobody should dip into the 30s, but if you really want the upper 30s, look at the low Friday morning, 41. That's here in the city. The deepest valleys could wind up in the upper 30s, so we could see some frost developing possibly on Friday. We'll have to watch that.
All right, yeah, absolutely. Dave says, why are you trying to jinx the cold weather? I'm not necessarily trying to jinx it, Dave. I mean, I guess I like it. I do. So if it comes, great, but not like frigid temperatures.
It just comes, right, Justin?
It just comes, right? All it is. Inside joke. Okay, that's it for us today. News continues 24/7 at WNYNewsNow.com. We'll leave you with this live look over Chautauqua Lake. Have a great day out there. Of course, when you're on the go, it's so easy to stay in the know by downloading our mobile app. Just search WNY News Now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. We'll see you back here tomorrow.